Okay, well, so it is escape velocity nova time. So let us get back to OBS here and set it back to escape velocity nova. Oh yeah, and pop-up chat would be a good idea, but I will rather do this. I connect to that. And go. Okay, let's. No, not that there. Need you right here. Okay, so just getting up chat so I can deal with it if anyone comes in. And let us get going. We are still in our Zephyr, the second one anyway, called Orion's Peace. And let us enter the ship. I have to go to the Vericar system to deliver a spy to the Wolf 359 system. Now I think that's the last of the spying missions. Where is the system I have to pick them up in? There Nurut. I thought I'd. Oh, I have him already. Okay, that's why. So let us go and why not go around this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and turn on the double speed and let us jump. And let's go. Whoa, too far. And just get it refuel. And give us a place to. Yeah, there's no real easy way to do this. 3, 4, done. Yeah, see, they're all over here. And they would beat the shit out of me if I was not careful. I'm hoping that some of them will go away. They're not going. Some of them are going to jump. I think some of them might jump. Yeah, there was one. No, the rest are not going to jump. Oh, there's a couple. Let's hang around here and see if they'll jump away, because there's a good number of them are in a fleet, and I think that's the entirety of the fleet. Let's just go down and check. Yeah, that's the entirety of the fleet. So what I've got to do is this. Hi guys. Come after me, please. Gotta slow down a little. I need you to catch up to me, is the point, so I can see where the hell you are. Hi. Let's turn this way. They're gonna fire missiles at me, which is fine. use my afterburner to get back into the center of the system pretty quickly, faster than they can. And that's not how it works. I am really very much oh yeah. There we go. It turns out that Mufurin spent nearly the early years of her life training as a Nickel Moria, and that therefore she is the one of the most accomplished warriors within the Mohari. So early on in the voyage, you asked her if you could continue the training started by Airman Flanagan. Day after day in hyperspace, she pushes your body and your mind to new limits, reveling at how quickly you learn. Within days, you learn to fall into observing the weaver's life, as she calls it, without any effort at all. A few days more, and you realize that you find the more normal forms of observation, sight, sound, etc., more taxing to use than this level of spiritual awareness, which has become very relaxing. By the end of the voyage, you've even crudely affected the weaves around you to create, in effect, your own weaves. Not once in the time you spend with her did you even come close to even matching Mufurin's skill, but in the few weeks you have spent under her tuition, you know that you made enormous leaps forward. Okay. You truly must be Orhira, she informs you in her quiet, delicate manner as she helps you with your post-flight routine. Nobody else could learn what you have this fast. The young Nikomoria take years to learn what you have, and Mohari with no prior warrior training take even longer. After a short pause, you turn to her and ask if she can tell you anything about why Miranda began calling you Orhira. She looks at you for a long moment before replying. Orihara is legend passed down to us by the Velos, she says sadly, after they saved us from the Colonial Council. They said that the time of disunity we had begun would finally be ended by one who would become known as Orihara. Over the past 6 centuries, we have been waiting for you, so that we can finally be rejoined with the rest of humanity. To learn any more than that, she continues after a sad sigh, you'll have to talk to one of the remaining Velos. Only they know more. You watch on, bemused as she casually walks away. Okay. Is there any outfits here that I need? I really don't think so. Like a Marine platoon, if I could hold it, might be minorly nice. But the rest are, like what I don't already have, are kind of useless. The reactor I have is better than that. So, I could take missions here, but I have no interest in that right now. I've got to get out of here. I really do. That reminds me, I've got to go pull this up. I have to pull up that and go way down here. Oh. That would be, yeah, so that's where I am. So I have about a day, but I'll cron delay. But I will be well out of their systems before I have to be, like I won't even be out of Earth's territory before that happens. So I'm gonna head back up here-ish. Actually, not that far. I could probably stop at Trinifu and that's good. I don't have to cloak. And I'm out of Terran space. Let us land. Oh, look here. I wasn't even looking for it. and has a 50-50 chance of 50% chance. As you slowly walk down the ramp, practicing your weaves as you go, you sense a familiar flow coming towards you. You see the deep auburn hair and happy smile of Miranda as she enters the bar. I see you've been working hard, she compliments you regarding your new abilities. Every time I meet you, you seem to have noticeably improved. But that's not why I'm here, she shakes her head, losing her smile. We discovered that New England is the secret headquarters for the Bureau, and with a little digging, we have managed to verify quite a number of the claims made by rebels regarding the actions of the Bureau. I will spare you the details, but it isn't pretty. Many of the things done by the Bureau can be best described as sickening. Anyway, Miranda continues, shaking off her grim mood, we need someone to head over to the rebels and inform them when we're prepared to open the diplomatic ties with them. Interested? Sure. I knew I could count on you, smiles Miranda happily. You are always prepared. You are always here to help out. Getting back to the point, she grins. Tell the rebels that we are prepared to allow them to send a single diplomat to stay on Killary along with whatever staff he or she needs. All the normal diplomatic rules apply, diplomatic immunity and the like. While you are there, you can tell them to stop trying to hide their copies of our dragon. We don't mind that they have started producing them, as they're probably the least combat capable of all our craft. We have no problem with helping out our new friends by allowing them to access the original schematics. We are, however, very interested in finding out how they managed to get the plans in the first place. Another thing, Miranda continues more seriously, avoid all Federation vessels as much as possible. Now that we know more about the Bureau, we know that they have access to the sensor logs of all Federation vessels. Okay. So, yeah, that's fine. I can manage that. That's not a big deal. I could do... Yeah, they might be there, so let's go around. And done. That should keep us away from any Federation vessels. Not that they would see me going through. Not the Hypergate. Interesting that there's a cast this close. Upon landing, you're given a semi-official welcome by Dr. Pentecost and General Smart. Welcome back, Orihara, begins Dr. Pentecost formally. You apologize for the lack of ceremony, but we were only made aware of your approach when our sensors picked you up entering this system. You wave away his apology, telling him that it doesn't matter. Would you care to accompany us to a more private place to talk? Asked General Smart, taking over, and you nod and ask him to lead on. The three of you make your way to an empty office above that of the docks master. So how can we help you? Asked Dr. Pentecost after you sit down. You quickly explain that Polaris have managed to verify many of the claims that they had made against the Bureau, after a great deal of searching inside of Federation space. The Bureau certainly knows how to go about hiding its dirty laundry, General Smart nods in acknowledgement of the difficulty in investigating the Bureau, but that still doesn't explain why you're here. On the slight grin, you tell them that you have been authorized by the Polaris government to make an offer of open diplomatic ties with the rebellions. After summarizing the terms of their offer, you add that the Polaris are more than prepared to allow the rebels to continue producing the Dragon ships that they're willing to release the original plans to them to help in making them more combat capable. Both rebel leaders have the good grace to look a little sheepish. Well, this is good news, exclaims Dr. Pentecost with a genuine smile after covering his momentary embarrassment. We would definitely like to open diplomatic ties with the Polaris, and the terms don't seem to be unreasonable. However, we cannot make this decision without talking to our fellow leaders. We will need a couple of hours to talk to all of them. If you could wait for us in the bar, we will have our answer for you in, say, 2 hours. You nod, head in agreement. You nod your head in agreement and take your leave of them. Okay. And again, I don't think there's a whole lot of outfits here that I particularly want. And there's definitely not any ships here I want. So let's head over the bar. As you sit quietly sipping your second drink with your new powers of observation, you sense the imminent arrival of Dr. Pentecost and General Smart. When they enter the room together, you can tell by the wheeze around them that they are both very happy. You guess that the rebels are excited that someone has not only independently corroborated their findings, but prepared to help them in their struggle against the Bureau. As the two of them walk over, you sense that everyone in the bar has turned their attention to you. We have spoken to the rest of the rebel leaders, Dr. Pentecost begins formally, and we have decided to by a unanimous vote to accept the Polaris offer to open diplomatic talks. First ambassador will be Dr. Pentecost himself. General Smart takes over, but once he has set up our embassy, he will be replaced as he's far too valuable to our cause to be away for too long. Well, I'm ready to leave as soon as we can. Shall we launch? Dr. Pentecost asks you seriously. Without batting an eyelid, you answer that the Polaris are prepared to begin whenever the rebels are ready. Then can you pass a message on to them that we'll need a few guides? He replies quietly, show us the way and to and from the Polaris capital. You smile and ask if it would be possible for the lead elements of the embassy to be loaded aboard your ship, and that a rebel ship follow you from here to Killary in the Killary system. Killarlee in the Killary system. Good idea, agrees General Smart, before turning to Dr. Pentecost. How long until you can be ready to leave with what you need to start putting together the embassy? A few hours, Dr. Pentecost replies, no more. You stand up and say that you will be waiting on board your ship to help with the loading of this equipment. With a nod to the rebel leaders and a quick look around the rest of the patrons, you head out of the bar, aware that from the wheeze emanating from everyone in the room that they're all very happy with the outcome of the impromptu meeting. Okay. That's good. So I am going. We took 10 tons. That's actually not unreasonable for people. 4, 5, 6. Why not? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I should be able to do that. I have 12. I should be able to do that with the recharging. You are met by Bis Andrea and the heads of the 5 castes as you escort Dr. Pentecost off your ship. We have been sickened upon discovering some of the actions undertaken in the name of the Bureau, announces Bis Andrea in an official tone after making your initial introductions, and we make a pledge to support you in your fight against this evil organization. I can only express that the overwhelming gratitude of everybody in the rebel cause, Dr. Pentecost answers with humility, that the mighty and somewhat mysterious Polaris have, of their own accord, decided to aid us. Okay, we will strive to be worthy of your support. Hold on. Oh, sorry. After a few more official yet short speeches, you welcome Bissandreas turns to you. Seems day by day we are coming to depend on you more, she says shrewdly. The longer you wear the name Orihara, the more it suits you. Regardless, she continues quietly, we thank you for your services to the Polaris people. Yeah, 100,000 credits. That's not nothing. Okay. And a day before and let's leave. And I have some running around to do. Then see if I manage to trip it by going to another system. And if not, we will try some. Oh, I did it. As you go through your post-fight routine, with your new powers of observation, you expand your awareness out into the space around your ship. You immediately sense the familiar echoes that indicate Miranda is waiting for you outside. When you finally finish, you head out to talk with her. I see that you're still practicing, she smiles, but you sense a cautionary note beneath her facade, and you bring into a weave indicating your curiosity. Those of us who have learned at least to guide our own weaves, after a period of learning, choose to control our weaves so as not to overly influence those around us. You suddenly understand that she's not here to send you to another mission, but that she's concerned about your training and your well-being. That's right, she answers gently, but I'm not the only one. Many Polorans are worried that you cannot continue learning at this rate you are without at least a little guidance and help. Are you prepared to listen to some advice? Sure. Nobody knows more about all the aspects of martial arts than the spiritual behind them than the Nickel Moria. Miranda explains. Your talents are so great that nobody else could hope to keep you up with you. The head of the Warrior's Physical Combat School has asked if he could have the honor of training you. His name is Orlando. If anyone can train you to your maximum potential, it would be him. The Warriors have a tradition of physical challenges, and in 70 years nobody has ever bested him in any form of physical combat. He lives in a mountain range on the Warrior Caste homeworld, she continues, where he trains his students, who are those who have been chosen to be the next generation masters on the three Warrior Caste training worlds. He'll be waiting for your arrival. Your time with him will be hard, Miranda breathes quietly, and you sense her thoughts are far away from the present. But you will not learn more from anyone else. Yay! So I have to go down to the training world of Nilkemoria. Fair enough. And let us get going. Okay, and at some point in time, I'll have that big ship, and I'll totally destroy things with it. As soon as you land, you're met by a grey hook Nilkemoria named Drengar, who takes you to the Arando's mountain retreat. You learn that he is one of Arando's students, and you are soon introduced to Arando himself. I've heard much about you, Orihara, rumbles the surprisingly small Arando, looking you over with his faded brown-gray eyes. I'm greatly honored that you have thought me worthy to teach you. I will work hard to live up to that honor. Over the following months, you learn that this man is a master among masters. All of his students are well on their way to becoming masters in their own right, and at the start you are hopelessly outclassed by all of them. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, you can see the constant effects of the physical and mental training start to pay off. Soon you are picking up on the weaves of some of Rando's students before they themselves do, and in no time you're beginning to hold your own. Okay. However, you soon realize that your abilities differ from everyone here. They fight by weaving increasingly complex patterns around each other until a mistake is made, and while you become highly proficient at this, you soon learn that your talents go beyond theirs. Almost intuitively, you start dancing into the unaffected spaces between their weaves, and before long, only Orlando himself, whose weaves are so complex that the space around him is nearly filled with his spirit, can best you. Your view of the universe is different from mine, he muses to you after training one day. I create my weaves out around me, extending my awareness, and so bending the universe to my will. But your awareness seems to lend itself to blending with the universe, so that it becomes an extension of you, or you of it. I think perhaps you should leave here, tells you thoughtfully. I cannot guide you toward the questions you must ask, so you must search for them yourself. I need some time to discover their answers. Okay, so I have a day before something. And let's leave. Yeah, I know. I have a day hold off before the next one would trigger, and it's a 50% trigger on any government. Okay, so since that didn't, let's go do the mission. No. I don't think I can trigger this one anymore, but we will try. Accept, leave. I think Verahay is this one here. No, it's Verasay. We need to go to Verahay, which therefore would be that one? No, Verahay. Land there, and 25,000. There you go. As you absentmindedly go through your post-flight routine, you find yourself concentrating on observing the ebbs and flows of the universe when you sense a familiar presence approaching. You turn around to see a grinning Pajena coming towards you. Orihara, it's good to see you again, he says happily, in his bookish way. I've been trying to find you for some time. You shake his hand and invite him to sit down, asking him what was so important that he's been trying to chase you down. Well, he begins quietly, we've been going over the sensor logs from your missions to the rebels, and we found something that we believe needs more attention. I was wondering if you could help us out again. That's why the karst was there. Cryptpod, sorry. We noticed an odd-looking ship that appeared in the Hikoria system, Pajena explains in his quiet voice. You may remember it being defined as a cryptpod. Anyway, we've been trying to identify it ever since we learned about it, he continues thoughtfully. Unfortunately, the only reference to crypt we have comes out of some of our most ancient archives, referring to a group of Velos that we dealt with when they rescued us from the Colonial Council nearly 7 centuries ago. So, we want you to go and see the Velos who's posted to the Kane University on Earth. Pajena concludes slowly. I believe his name is Lyrell, and ask him if he can help us with our inquiries. Once you have done that, meet me on Par Ared and we'll talk further. You tell him that you would be glad to help him and try to uncover the mystery, shake his hand, and head back to the ship to begin preparing her for the long trip to Earth. Okay. It's a trip. Definitely a trip. So, done. let's go see if they'll mostly jump out first. Yeah, see, those ones are not going to jump out. Oh, maybe they are. Okay. Out by Mars. Please say they're jumping. Please say they're jumping. They're jumping. Great. After going through your post-flight routine, you head off to find the campus of the Kane University. After a little over an hour of searching, you find it. Another hour, and you're standing in the Center of Velo Studies, Center for Velo Studies, wondering what to do next. As you look around, you sense the currents moving around you in a strange way, somehow indicating a mind more in touch with the weaves of life than your own. And you see the traditional long hair and fair limbs of Velo striding down the corridor towards you. He suddenly looks at you curiously. "Welcome, Orihara," he greets you, almost reverently. "We've been waiting for your arrival for many years." You nod your head in recognition of your greeting, trying to mask the slightly confused whirl of questions going through your mind. "It's good to learn the Polaris still remember the legend we gave them all those centuries ago." He smiles knowingly at your confusion. "As you already know, Orihara is a Polaris adaptation of a Velos concept. To us, the word translates roughly as guardian spirit that lies beneath the currents of life. But of course, it is very difficult to put into words our telepathic thoughts with any accuracy. To the Polaris, you are going to become something of a mythical figure who will reunite humanity. We know that both are true, but we aren't sure exactly how." You open your mouth to tell him about your purpose, but he holds up a hand, stopping you in your tracks. "I know why you're here," he tells you quickly. "Meet me in the bar in 2 hours, and we shall talk further." Sense rather than see the long-haired Velos walk into the bar. He indicates that you should follow him, and you quickly get up and rush out the front door after him. You sense someone starting a battle flow, and you duck aside at the last instant and try to dance between the weaves suddenly being weaved around you. You and your opponents dance around each other in what appears to be, to bystanders, to be a dervish of destruction, and you seem to be gaining the upper hand, sliding comfortably between his weaves. Suddenly, your opponent slides in between his own weaves, and you find yourself lying flat on the ground, unable to breathe. You look up to see the Velos looking down at you, smiling. "You have a great deal of skill," he compliments you. "I was forced to use my telepathic abilities to merge with the spirit of the universe for a moment. You have learned much. I think you might be the one who will do what is necessary to help us. Come, we will talk help us into the veil. Come, we will talk more in my private rooms." After a short walk, he leads you into his private apartment, and you both sit down. We are aware of the crypt mind that overwhelms much of the galactic Northwest," he begins quietly. "Unfortunately, it is a mind of enormous intelligence and curiosity, but little moral compunction. Every Velos who has attempted to make contact with it has been attacked and overwhelmed by the nanite pods that are its physical form. To this day, we do not know why. You tell Lyrell that the Pedette were wondering if the crypt had something to do with the Velos the Polaris dealt with centuries ago. "You mean the crypto?" he mutters, nodding thoughtfully. "It is possible. They were the focus of our entire race. In a way, you could say that they were our leaders. They disappeared from our memory just before the end of the war. What happened to them, we do not know. Anyway, I hope that helps," he tells you quietly. "Perhaps it will lead you to further understanding. I wish you well, Orihara." So, now to get out of here. Just while we're at it. Oh yeah, I have to go to power added. Error. 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. That's entirely doable. Let that regenerate a little. don't expect we'll have that. Stop being annoying. Oh, are they? They're gonna follow me the whole way? That's gonna be annoying. I don't actually really care that much. They're gonna follow me the whole freaking way. That's really annoying. There you go. You find Pagena and a small group of his colleagues waiting for you when you step off your ship. You're introduced and you exchange greetings with them all. So what did Lyrell say? Asked Pagena, clearly excited but in his bookish way. Could he say shed any light on the subject of cryptopods? You reply that he may have. To allay their confusion, you can go into more detail regarding the conversation with Velos, telling them about the crypto and how they disappeared just before the end of the Velos War, and how the crypto attacks overwhelm every Velos who attempts contact. This is very interesting, comments Pagena. Then, when you finish, you'll need some time to run an analysis of some of the most likely scenarios, but I doubt we have enough information to reach any kind of conclusion. Keep an eye out of the bar here. I don't doubt that we will be needing your services again, Orihara. Well, let's see if we trigger it right immediately. We don't. So, let's start missions. Which one gives me the most? The first one. And where's it going? I can manage that. I can manage most of the way across the galaxy if I really needed to. But we're done. And let's go there. Here. And look, you're surprised to sense Master Arando waiting for you as you bring your ship into dock. The wheeze around him suggests a deliberate sense of urgency. You quickly go through the post-flight routine and head out to speak with him. It appears that a large fleet of Auroran ships is attempting to smash through our borders, he informs you quietly. I think it may be beneficial for your training if you participated in the defense of our nation. Are you willing to risk your life for our people? He asks seriously, his weave showing his desire for you to do so. Yeah, that's that one. Sure. Once again, you have lived up to your name, Orihara, he comments shrewdly, proving your worth to the Polaris people. Our long-range sensor readings show that the fleet will reach the Niclororo system soon, he informs you solemnly, and while in many ways we admire the Auroran warrior ethic, we know that they respect strength above all else. If we do not drive them off decisively, it will only make them try harder. So make sure that none of the ships escape from the field of battle, he concludes plainly, and when you're finished, return here. Okay. That's a little bit of a pain in the ass. I wish I could have taken that one further out, but I will deal with it. Oh, there's one in between. Done. Leave. And they haven't arrived yet. They'll arrive directly behind me. Weapon. can't find it. And so let's just land here because I want to. And yeah, they haven't added anything. I have to go back to there again. That's not the key I wanted. I wanted the jump key. I believe it was that one. So, there we go. You're following yourself, almost waking up as you fly into dock. You become so involved in the ebb and flow of the battle that you lost all sense of self and started to become one with the fabric of the universe. The weaves being created by both sides had almost no meaning for you as you casually slipped between them all, however somehow fading into the universe. Master Andaro looks deep into your eyes as you exit your ship. I see that you're learning some of the answers I could not give you, he nods thoughtfully. This is what I had hoped. He shakes his head before quietly smiling, his face full of solemn pride in you. Now that you showed that you're willing to risk death for the Polaris people, he informs you with quiet happiness. The Nicomoria have accepted you as being Orihara and are willing to allow you to access all of their technology and ships, even the Scarab. Well done. I look forward to meeting you again when the next opportunity to continue your training arrives. Okay, so let's go see how expensive this shit is, because it is going to be expensive. Just outfitting. Where is the... There's none of them in there. Nickel Moria, I think, has shipyards. No Pihard has a shipyard. No Pestra has a shipyard. I think we're gonna go there. Oh, Pestra, done. Because while this ship is nice, there's other ships that are nice too. That ships that I absolutely 100% cannot put forward, I'm sure. So, a Scarab, I need 3 million for a basic Scarab. And I realistically need 4 because I need but it should open all of this to me, which will give me some spun diamond organic shield. Yeah. Yeah, so Nickel Moria Jammer is better than the other jammer, Manta and Manta Bays. See, I can't fit any of that in here. Biorelay laser turret. 15, no. See, this is nicer because I don't actually have to try to aim it. A million. Well, realistically, what I have to do to deal with that is come. Is this one? Yeah. No, this one is trading. Clear road. Bing. Outfitting shipyard. There we go. Let's just see what that shipyard has, because I'm gonna have to go get a big ship again and do some trading. Shipyard. Okay, this is a arachnid I could get. It has around 40 tons, 25, 12 jumps. It has maximum 2 turrets, but I really don't want that. What I want is I'm gonna have to go to Killary, aren't I? The next one is a 50% bar, so as long as I don't this is not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to the Killary. And we want to land here. Shipyard. Because it has a Cambrian, which I can get for fairly cheaply. Buy ship. And what shall we call this? Chatters. No one there. Cambrian. We are going to call this I don't know. I can turn off cap locks. The golden mule. It's the golden mule because it's going to do some things that turn cap locks back on. Excuse me. Fusion reactor, I can't have any of it, so it doesn't make a difference unless I did a mastery tool. It gives me 10 tons of mass. I'm not going to be really using that to 3 done because I am going to be oh, that's something I forgot. Well, we'll pick it up in the system in between. Recharge. Trade center. Opals. Buy. Sell about 100 of them. I don't think I need that much, but this one. I didn't stop for it. Oh well. It's just my radar's not completely useful. Recharge that. Trade center. Sell. Equipment. Buy. Done. I want to land here because is this the... No, it isn't. I believe there is a outfitter on this system. No, there isn't. Okay, so then I really do have to go to Helipar. Leave. And I really... Let's just route it past and stop when we get there. And outfitter. I need a IFF decoder, gravimetric center, and recharger because those are annoying not to have. And leave. And the next one is really what I should do is I should make the journey to the other to get myself some oh, I can't buy. Not until I've sold. I have no room. And there we go. This shouldn't take too long to make a lot of money. With this much. The only thing that can carry more is a big cargo ship you see in the Federation. Oh, great. This is not supposed to... Sudden whiff of stillness as you sense Master Aranda before you. Before you spot him as you exit your ship. Once again, you're amazed at his mastery of the space around him. As only your ability to slip between the weaves of life around you enabled you to detect his presence nearby. It appears that another large fleet of Auroran ships is attempting to prove themselves against us, he informs you quietly. I think this is another good opportunity for your training. Are you willing once again to risk your life for the people? Is that a repeating quest? No, this is a scout. Is that a repeating quest? I think it is. Okay, sure I will. I'm definitely all this. I'm not leaving the ship, but what I'm doing first is going here and buying an upgrade. Because I'm definitely not fighting in this one. And we go Kamsa. We go to the outfitter. Can I buy that? I can't. I wasn't surprised. Looking organ, it requires 1 ton, so I am going to have to do a master tool. Buy that. And get a cloaking organ. So, yeah. No, I would have to do another master tool. Because I know they will. sorry, I just don't have the fighting capabilities to deal with that. So it's a repeating quest anyway. So. I should have picked up some opals on the way. Great, it's the same thing. Same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing that I read earlier. So let's go to the trade center and let's buy equipment. And go back to Trevasser. And let's go land here. Trade center. Sell. Buy. Done. Let's go back over to Tripania. Leave there. Okay, so trade center. 8 million. You don't think that's going to make a difference? Leave. Go, trade center. Sell. 911. 576. Done. I have 5 million that I can spend towards that. I want to actually get quite a bit more because I'm remember the not the Scarab, but the one after that being considerably more expensive still. So plus I have to put cloaking organs in them, and I don't really want to do this again for a little while. How are we doing for that? We're doing about 1 hour and 50 minutes so far. And let us go. And let's land, and there we go. $8 million. And I think this is going to be the last run we're going to do for a little while. Center 13 million. I don't think it's going to be enough for what I want to do. But we will go and buy ourselves a scarab. Because this is what? This is yeah, it's nice because it's a specific ship. It's not named. Done. I'm not doing an arachnid. It did, but I know Nickel Moria will have it. So let us go there. Shipyard. Yeah, so it has capacitor pulse lasers, a Polaris torpedo, and 4 mantas. And 10 jumps. It also has 100 cargo and 60 tons of space. Buy that ship. Scarab. We're gonna call this, I don't know. Just because it looks like it. Bird of prey. Catwalks. Bird of prey. Just because it really does look like a Klingon bird of prey. Okay, so I need a cloaking order in. Yeah, so I need to sell one of these and buy one of these. Okay. A relay turret. Two. Sell that. Yeah. See, I don't really want the Manta Bay. Or well, the capacitor lasers I'll keep, but our relay laser turret is much more useful. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. Leave because I'm pretty Oh, look what I forgot. Try landing here. I don't know if it has an outfitter, but we will try. It does recharge because the outfitter, I totally forgot these again. Buy, and that's good. The Polaris torpedoes. So I have 40 of them. That's great. Leave. That reminds me. The key settings for yeah, with their secondary weapons. That's right. have my fleet with me. Yeah, okay, then let's jump. Land. And all this was a refueling, because I want to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Done. Leave. Pirate, that little guy that went flying past me, he was smart enough not to bother me. That's fine. I came here because I want a horizontal booster. I want, sorry, port and polish. We should have it. Port and polish. Make things go a little faster. An afterburner. And see down here by this, there should be a battery pack. I could do that, but realistically what I should do
Captain Polaris is at Andy. Would you please report cargo reception? Your new dual-studded box has arrived.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fair enough. Done. I'm firing me, so I don't care. The biggest targets avoid attacking me, considering I would wreck them pretty badly at this point. So theoretically, I get about 12 out of this ship. We're gonna land, and there's no bar here. Of course, there's no bar here. That's the way it's gotta be. See, this is needs more. I think a sensor boost is not a big thing, and it helps. I have the Nickel Moria jammer anyway, so I don't need that jammer. I can't buy any more of those. Buy any more of those either. See, I think I'm just gonna buy that and see which it does. It does neither, but I may recharge it faster. Okay, there's none there. Let's go there. There should be a bar in that one. And let's go to the bar. Good, I triggered it. Before you even enter the bar, you can sense the tightly controlled wheeze as a slightly worried Miranda. You observe her without disturbing the ebbs and flows around her, and when you sit down at her table, she looks up with surprise. How did you get so close with disturbing the weaves? She asked, slightly startled. You smile quietly and jump between her weaves and twist them around her. You really are Orihara, she whispers in awe. I had heard that Master Andor had said that you had moved beyond his capability to teach, but I could hardly believe that such a thing in so little time. He is possibly the greatest warrior in our history, and for him to admit that you could master him if you chose is almost unbelievable. But now I see that he was only speaking the truth. She shakes her head for a moment, recovering. The actual reason I'm here is to ask you for help again. We need someone to scout out Auroran space. Interested? Yep. I knew I could count on you, she gushes, happy again. She waves her over a black-garbed Mohari and a grey-cloaked warrior, whom you instantly recognize. Allow me to introduce Musetan, and I believe you and Drengar were both students under Aranda. You nod respectfully to Musetan, and greet Drengar with a warm smile and a strong warrior's handshake. As you all know, Miranda continues quietly, the Aurorans have been very active of late, and we are getting a little suspicious of what's going on. I went and had a chat with my old friend Eamon Flanagan, and he told me that similar incidents have been happening along the Federation border as well. He suggests we make contact with the Dextakars, who he called the Remertens, and the Heron House. Uh, Now, we have no idea where to go to make contact with either of these groups, she explains carefully. So it's up to you to find them and then open talks with them. I suggest you start by heading south, perhaps to Kunjo in the Sender system, and ask for further directions from there. Okay, so where am I? I'm up there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7, 8, 9. Done. We'll see how. And we go back to the key settings because I don't remember what. Yeah. And
Understood.
have to be defending. Let's let it run through and get going again. They took out one manta and did a chunk to my shields. Firing at me. Oh, they are firing at me. Oh, centered. The system is there. I don't feel like beating on them anymore. Spend the days in hyperspace training with both Drengar and Musetten, who both seem eager to learn from you. You begin to realize that you're becoming something of a role model to most of the Polarans, and that quite a number of them have begun to emulate you. As you pilot your beloved bird of prey into dock, sorry, that's just funny. You cannot help but shake your head at the idea that you should be the object of such reverence. Your reverie is interrupted when you sense the wheeze of 10 very hostile men waiting for you outside your ship. Both you and Drengar exchange glances, immediately head for the hatch. You both step out to see 10 fiercely tattooed Auroran warriors, who immediately spring to attack. You are almost surprised at how little effort you have to spend in slipping between their weaves and upsetting their attack plan. A few short, graceful seconds, you remain standing in a pool of blood with 8 dead bodies lying around you. Okay. Drengar bows in awe at your abilities, and the watching Aurorans all look momentarily stunned at the speed at which you dealt with your challengers. Eventually, one of the onlookers steps forward and addresses you in Auroran, which you do not understand. Don't worry, Musetten murmurs as he brushes past you. This is where I begin to make myself useful. He begins talking with the Auroran warrior who spoke to you, and as he does, so you find yourself falling into an almost hypnotic trance as you observe the weaves around them and listen to their conversation. Almost immediately, you begin to pick up on the general meaning of the words being spoken. You shake yourself out of it when Musetten turns back to you. They have offered to show me the exact location of the planet Rimerta on a map they have in the library, he tells you quietly. Meet me in the bar in an hour, and I should be able to tell you where our next stop is. So I'm just gonna pause for a minute, guys, and I need to get something to drink and maybe something to munch on, and I will be right back. Okay. So I'm back. And we are gonna go over to the bar. See what they have to say. You twist a weave around Drengar to get his attention when you sense the approach of Musetten and a couple of Auroran warriors. They enter the bar and make their way over to you. Both warriors have eagerness written into the weaves around them. They have graciously given us the location of the planet Rumerta to help guide us on our way, announces Musetten after he sits down. They have also given us a map of the local area to help us speed our way over the initial journey. You nod, wondering why Musetten needs a warrior to escort to tell you this. They wanted to see the man who honored their battle brothers by using them to prove his worth as a warrior, Musetten explains after you raise a subtle weave questioning their presence. They have fought the Niclomoria before, and they acknowledge them as perhaps the strongest warriors in the universe, but they have never seen your like Orihara. I wanted to meet the man who did my battle brother the honor of showing them his full strength, announces the larger of the two heavily muscled warriors. I am Drechma, and I greet you in peace. I am Hacknick, beans the other warrior. I too wanted to show my respect. They both nod their heads in a respectful motion before taking their leave and walking away. You seem to have made something of an impression, Drengar comments wryly, as it's good that they were trying to keep this low key, otherwise you might have had to go around begging to get some attention. You chuckle at his humor before downing the rest of your drink and getting up. Taking their cue from you, both of the Polaris also stand, and the three of you make your way back to your beloved bird of preying to begin another long journey across the galaxy. Okay, where is Romerta? It's in the Pimmon system. One, two. These, I hate the Auroran systems. They're a pain in the ass because they're like long, round pieces of crap. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. And nothing on. It doesn't surprise me. Not shooting at me. Destroy them, yes, but I'm not going to bother boarding them. That's half of my Polaron torpedoes. Rather annoyingly. Probably could have dealt with the others with the... Once again, you spend your time in hyperspace teaching both Drengar and Musetten more about their warrior arts. You find that the more you work with them, the easier it is for you to merge with the universe and with your mind to make it work to your will. Both of your students are awestruck when you reveal to them that the lucky weaves that seem to spring up of their own accord around you were really of your creation. Once again, you sense a hostile reception waiting for you when you land, and both you and Drengar head to the hatch to once again prove yourselves to the Aurorans. Outside, you're met with 10 young warriors who immediately launch themselves at you, revealing their mastery of combat by throwing them extremely complex weaves at you in an almost incomprehensible pattern. With thinking, you immediately merge with the universe, and after a few moments of graceful violence, 9 of these men lay dead at your feet, with Drengar standing over the 10th, shaking his head in awe. An elderly warrior steps forward, and you sense his keen intelligence through the tight control he maintains over the weaves around him. He bows deeply in acknowledgment of your skill. We heard that one whose strength was immeasurable had entered the Empire, he begins solemnly. Now we see that the stories of your skill were, if anything, understated rather than the reverse. I am Dunaka, eldest living Dechakar. I am honored to have met you. I understand that you are representing the Polaris, he asks, inquiringly at you. Both you and Drengar indicate Musetten with subtle weaves, and Dunaka turns his attention to the Mohari. We were told by a man named Ibn Flanagan that you might be the people to see regarding a few matters, shrugs Musetten quietly. Perhaps we could sit down and talk. Arkadar's honor is impeccable, dawns Dunaka. He waves Musetten over. Come, we will talk. I guess we wait in the bar, comments Drengar mildly, and you laugh. You sense that every warrior in the room is trying to observe you without making it obvious. You decide to merge with the universe and cause an enormous hurricane of weaves centered on you to appear as if by chance. You cannot help but smile at the astounded expressions all of the room. After recovering his composure, Drengar shakes his head, smiling. Stop showing off, or he chuckles. He says that every warrior in the room is rocked by the very core, to the very core, with your display of mastery over the universe. Not long after, you sense the approach of Musetten. Well, things are getting interesting, he tells you after he sits down. I have learned that these Dechekars are a group of warriors that have no loyalty to any house, only the Empire as a whole. And from what I have been able to gather from the other warriors I've talked with, they're thought of very highly by the warriors of the 5 houses, which surprises me given that they don't have much respect for each other. Now, getting back to the business at hand, Musetten continues. Nunaka was unwilling to talk about what all the Auroran activity was about, but I could tell he was more than a little suspicious about it, and not completely happy with it. He was, however, more than happy to give me coordinates for the Haran system. He intimated that the Haran House might well be the best people to ask regarding the recent actions by the Aurorans. He explains in a low voice, leaning forward. Apparently, they are sworn enemies of the Moash House, who are the First Family, which means that while they have pledged to support the First Family, and they fight alongside the First Family warriors every day against the enemies of the Empire, they actively fight against those same warriors trying to undermine the position of the Moash House. If anyone would be willing to talk with us about what's going on, Musetten concludes quietly, the Haran House would be it. Yay. Haran is there. I don't have a map. Does this buy me anything? It does a little, kinda. 3, 4, 5, 6. I expect there'll be more duelists when we get there. No duelists? Fair enough. I will land on Haran then. Once again, after many long days of training in hyperspace, you sense a hostile reception as you move your way into dock. As you and Dregar make your way out of the hatch, you are slightly surprised to see a single man, bare to the waist, with a stylized bird tattooed onto his face, and hundreds of other small tattoos covering his body waiting for you. Your surprise evaporates when you sense the complexity of his weaves. The only time you have seen weaves like it was when you were the presence of Master Arando. I cannot defeat this man states Dranger quietly, and you nod, indicating that he should remain on board the ship. You step out of the hatch and merge with the universe, sensing the patterns of your opponent's weaves around you. In a surprise move, he attacks with deadly skill. You're forced to draw upon all of your abilities to twist his weaves back upon him again and again, slowly forcing him to lose ground until, with a single move of almost poetic power, you knock him unconscious. After a moment of stunned silence, someone calls for a bucket of water. A young man runs forward and splashes the unconscious warrior, who immediately awakens. He slowly stands and turns to face you. I am Drechak, Tekorak, third of the Turan house, he introduces himself, and until today I had not been beaten in over 40 years. You're truly a warrior among warriors. You nod, accepting his compliment before introducing yourself and your two companions, adding that Musetten has a number of questions he wants to ask about ask the elders of the Turan house. Come this way, Tekoraka. Tells Musetten quietly. I'll present you to the council of elders myself. After the two of them disappear into the crowd, you instead Drengar walk over. You are more than a warrior among warriors, Orihara, he says reverently. You are a master among masters. Not even Arando could have defeated that man so easily. You shake your head and say that you're still going to wait in the bar. You're going to wait in the bar for the return of Musetten. And bar. As you're sipping your drink and chatting with Drengar, you sense the imminent arrival of Musetten. I have a message from Miranda, he tells you after he sits down. Firstly, I will be staying here for a while to learn as much as I can from the elders of the Haran house. Secondly, it appears that the Aurorans are launching battle-level attacks in an attempt to distract Federation intelligence from a major attack coming soon. Although the Haran elders are more than a little suspicious of the motives behind the Moash setting this in motion, they believe that the Moash elders have some ulterior motive for it all. But as yet, they have been able to prove nothing. He turns to Drengar. Are you willing to stay also? I ask because Auroran politics is something of a violent business, and I may not have the skills I need to defend myself. Plus, of course, Turkak noticed you earlier today and commented that you're still a very talented student, and he would be honored to train with you. Drengar nods impassively, but you can sense the excitement beneath his calm exterior. I would be honored to stay here with you, he replies softly. They both turn to you, and after an awkward moment, you realize that they're trying to say goodbye. You shake your head with a smile at their reverence, remembering when you were just a struggling freighter captain working out of Port Kane. You stand here and wordlessly shake hands with both Polarans before heading back to the docking bay to prepare your beloved bird of prey for another long journey, this time back to Muraharo in Polaris space. As you walk along, you cannot help but feel the sense of awe emanating from the people you see. You are more than a little bit grateful when you finally make it back to your ship. Heading out to space, you breathe a sigh of relief, glad to be away from such worship. You point your ship in the direction of Muraharo and begin your long journey back. It's not going to be a short journey, definitely, because this stuff is a pain in the ass to navigate. So, I've got a couple stops at least. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 15. I only have 10, right? Yeah. So I've set 17. Let's see where it gives out. So 14 jumps is the max I can do in sequence. That's okay, I don't mind. It's not a big deal. Okay, let's land. You sense the bubbly spirit of Miranda even before you land. She greets you with her vicious smile when you enter, a vivacious smile when you enter the ship. It's good to see you again, Orihara, she explains, smiling. How did things go in Auroran space? As the two of you walk along, you give her a rough outline of the events of the journey, skipping over the details of the various fights you had a part in before concluding with a message from Musetten. After you finish, she stops and looks at you thoughtfully. Modesty becomes you, Hara, but I don't think I haven't heard some reports of your deeds, she tells you after a long pause. It seems you have reached a level that only the Velos of old could have ever even have dreamed of. Oranda openly acknowledges you as a master now, and he doesn't do that lightly. Both he and some of his fellow masters have all reported feeling the fabric of the universe change every time you do whatever it is you are able to do. But you cannot help but sense the beginning of the now familiar feelings of awe emanating from Miranda, and you smile a lonely, empty smile. In that moment you realize you have become a person apart, a figure of legend. Never before have you felt so alone. You tell Miranda that you need some time alone to clear your head, so that you can better appreciate everything that has happened to you in the recent months. Of course, she agrees quietly. You become so much larger than life that sometimes even I forget you are still just a man who has been given uh, has been given. That's a mistake. Anyway, extraordinary abilities that have been thrust into an extraordinary situation. Take all the time you need. If I have anything for you, I will try to make contact with you wherever you are. You thank her and take your leave, wishing that, if only for a short while, your life could go back to the way it was before you became Orihara. Okay. And I think we're pretty close to the end. Oh, maybe not. Not as close as I thought I was, but there's still some more. This is actually, I think, the longest storyline. So, yeah, there's a day offset for that, which means I need to go to here because this is where I pick it up. This is the thing that let's land here. And the outfitter, I don't think there's so much here that I need. Um, uh, and it is from the bar. So, as you make your way to the bar, you sense a familiar presence of Pagena waiting for you long before you walk in the door. When you do enter, he stands up and waves you over to his table. I'm glad you stand by, Orihara, he says after you exchange greetings, as we find ourselves to be in a bit of a bother. None of our analysis have helped to get any closer to solving the mystery of the crypt. The only thing we have been able to do is verify that what Laurel said about the crypt pods being made of nanites is true. Other than that, we keep running up against dead ends. We're wondering, he continues almost pleadingly, if you could go on another journey for us to see if we can gather some more information. I warn you, this mission may be very dangerous. Sure, I'll go on it. Thank you, Orihara, Virginia tells you sincerely after you agree to help out. You probably don't know this, but most Padet are grateful to you for starting a recent boon in advancements due to the opening up of the border with the Wraith, led by your effort and your recent contact with the Aurorans. What we want you to do, he explains, getting down to business, is to locate the homeworld of the Velos, which goes by the same name. We know it's located somewhere northwest of what is now Federation space, but our ancient records are a little sketchy, so unfortunately we can't be more specific. We hope that if this crypt is as curious as the Velos claim it is, he tells you quietly, that it will somehow try to make contact with you. Of course, we know that this might be dangerous, but of anyone alive, you are perhaps the most capable of dealing with any danger it might present. When you have finished, he finishes a little tiredly, return here with your findings. Okay, this is going to be minorly annoying because I didn't do a whole lot of mapping up there, and it's over here, and that's the first outset point. Well, let's start by going to Korea. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So yeah, I've got to stop at outbound. I forgot to step it outbound. Well, I guess we're floating for a little while. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And right now we have 4. 5. You leave me alone. So it is a Federation. And I will destroy you. If you so much as think of attacking me. It's just a police cruiser. It's not really. And they're gone. I have enough now to do it. I don't think, again, there's anything I need here. Backpack. Don't really have that space anymore. So I don't remember which one. Yeah, I'm just gonna bribe you. Because it's 6,000, I can handle 6,000. Not that I think there's anything here, but I just want to look. I just wanted to refuel for my trip through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Because I'm going to be attacked in those systems. I'm almost certain of that. Land and Goliath. I know. Offer bribe. I accept the price. I have no problem with that. I have enough money. I want to go there. It's that way. It's this way. I did it in my MLS mission. I do. Oh yeah, it's that one. You're amazed by the godlike depths of intelligence you sense in the weavings of the crypt mind during your journey. As soon as you enter the physical space occupied by this intelligence, you find yourself constantly under attack by the crypt, and it slowly works away at your defenses. As soon as you begin piling down under the surface of Velos, the attacks stop, offering you some respite. And as you make your way through the atmosphere of this destroyed world, you can feel the crypt focus its attention down on the surface. When you step out, you see an obsidian-colored nude female figure striding towards your ship. "What are you?" she asks abruptly, and instantly you can sense the crypt's enormous intelligence in the figure before you. "Why did you come here?" Suddenly, you're forced to defend your mind against a potentially deadly intrusion as the crypt tries to weave her way inside your head. You instantly merge with the universe and twist the conditions around you to thwart her attempts. But even then, her weaves are almost too intricate to unravel, and you only barely manage to survive. Just as suddenly, the attacks stop. "You're interesting," she announces thoughtfully. "I will watch you." With that, her body dissipates to dust, and you are left panting with exertion. 4, 5, 6. Could I do it? 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's not it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can do it. So,
your new jewel-studded box arrived.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Done.
Cap-
Land. Leave. And let's land here. Every spare moment you have on the long journey back to make Pagena, you spend meditating and training to see if you could better survive another such attack. Never before have you felt such an enormously powerful force try to unravel your mind. The more you study the incident, the more frightened you become. Even the smallest moment of hesitation at any time would have left you dead in an instant. Day after day you practice in an attempt to duplicate the crypt weaves in order to better understand her attack and better prepare for any future encounter you may have with her. Towards the end of your journey, you begin to figure out how to produce the same configuration of weaves she did, but you're still a long way from being able to create them with anywhere near the same rapidity. As you fly down through the polluted atmosphere of Parad, you vow to keep meditating on her weaves and keep practicing so you as not to have to struggle so desperately the next time you meet her. What did you learn? Asked Pagena when you exit your craft, and you reply that you learned that you are not ready to deal with the crypt. Is it that powerful? He asked, going pale, and you nod grimly. You quickly detail the events of your journey and pass on all the impressions you got from observing the mind of crypt thought. You finish by describing the events of the attacks upon your mind, by informing Pagena that you need some more time before you feel ready to face her again. I understand, he bows, acknowledging the skill required to even have survived. I apologize for exposing you to such a powerful and uncaring being. We will analyze what information we can garner from your sensors. I can only express my deepest thanks for your efforts you went into securing it. Please, Orihara, he concludes serious. Do not return until you feel you are ready. Not a big deal. Uh, oh, is this the next one? Okay, so next one is 50% thing after 1 day of things. So let's just go down here. And it's in the main spaceport, so I should, well, as soon as I land, I should get it. If I get it. Nope, I don't. So, mission BBS. Auxiliary to Varashan, which is right there. Accept. Leave. And let us go. That is where I need to land. Okay. Give me a second. I'll check something. Okay. No, no, you don't go there. You go there and here. But in case I need you to be back. Okay, so is this here? Anything in the shipyard? No, just a Cambrian. Bar and any escorts? A Cambrian is 200,000. I don't think I can afford to bring that across the thing. So let's clear it and just do that one to here, and hold on, leave to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leave. Abel, I think is that. And there we go. And we have the next one. Good. As you prepare to disembark from your ship, you cannot help but smile in the anticipation when you sense the bubbly presence of Miranda waiting for you. You create a subtle weave to alert her to your imminent arrival, and she greets you when you walk out of the hatch to wave you over. I'm glad that our paths have once again crossed, she tells you with a smile, as I wanted to show you something that the Pedette and the Varash have been working on recently. You are, of course, aware that the fellows still suffer as slaves under the brutal guidance of the Bureau, she breathes, and that we have long wanted to find a way to of freeing them from the onerous burden. Well, recently, young Varash came up with a fairly reasonable theory as to how we might actually go about it. Interested? Yeah, sure. I thought you might want to come along, she continues with one of her trademark smiles. The other reason why I'm glad you came along is that I need a lift to see it myself. They are conducting the experience on Versailles Station in the Baroque system, so that's where we need to get to. I have been assured by a number of different Farash and Padet involved with the project, Miranda continues brightly, that they feel that they are on the verge of a major breakthrough soon, so you might want to hurry. You grin her not so subtle hint, and you invite her to lead way back to your beloved bird of prey and to begin the journey. Ooh, not through the center. 5, 6, 7. Done. Leave. And it's not there, it's over here. Come here. Okay. During the journey, Miranda asks you a number of questions regarding your abilities and your confrontation with the crypt. You end up training with her and guiding her to a greater understanding of her own arts and abilities. When you land, you are greeted by a green-robed woman whom Miranda introduces as Varala here. She indicates that you should all follow her, and she leads you to the observation booth looking down into the laboratory. Beneath you, you see a man lying down with a complex device fitted into the base of his skull, surrounded by 10 sweating Polarans of varying classes. Observing closer, you sense that the surrounding people are all very strong telepaths, and they are trying to somehow lift some kind of weight away from the mind of the prone patient. Suddenly you understand that the Polaris are trying to find a way of temporarily taking the strain away from the prone man who is enslaved by the device attached to his skull. You sense that they are trying to twist the weaves of the device against itself somehow, without much success. Acting on a whim, you merge with the universe around you and casually divert its weaves towards yourself. Suddenly you feel pressed against the floor by the flows of the enslavement device. Only by continually manipulating the conditions around you are you capable of keeping it at bay with a terrible compulsion. At the edge of your concentration, you hear a gasp, and you quickly emerge from your union with the universe, and the pressure on your mind falls away as your weaves crumble. You look up to see all the Polaris looking at you in awe. "And he shall show us the way onward," said Verily here, as if quoting from somewhere, and every person in the room bows in your direction. Embarrassed, you quickly tell them how you did it, and how they might emulate it using a series of simple weaves before telling Miranda that you are tired from the long journey and head back to the privacy of your ship. Okay. So that's great. This should occur at a 60% option in a bar. So, one more hurry. So, and go to the bar. Okay, so mission BS. Yeah, sure, why not? Taking the missions does not help in the thing. It's got a 60% chance of hitting, and I need to. Whoa. And I need to. This. I want to check something. I think I might need a little more combat experience, but we will check. I need somewhere above good ability. I have good ability, I'm not competent yet. Let's just take them. Here we go. And I trip it, so I have enough ability to do so. As you sit in the bar, you sense the familiar presence of Miranda approaching. Valera here and her team have duplicated your success, she tells you with a smile. Now we can move our operation up a notch. You can feel Miranda's mind working deviously, and you raise an eyebrow in curiosity. Now that you are with us, she tells you, we must prepare for the reintegration of humanity. We cannot stick to our isolationist policy any longer, so we must begin preparing the way. You see now that we can free one Velos, she continues explaining, we can aid the rebels in their efforts to destroy the Bureau. You see, without the enslaved Velos, the Bureau will no longer be able to put up show trials where supposedly free Velos are meant to read the minds of the accused and make the judgment on them. In reality, they are told precisely what their judgments are going to be ahead of time by the Bureau masters. The end result will be discrediting the Bureau and hopefully its destruction, and so a more reasonable Federation government. Interested in helping out? Sure, toppling a government sounds like fun. I knew I could count on you, Miranda smiles at you in thanks before getting down to business. We have already told the rebels to prepare for the Federation's sudden weakness, and we believe that they are planning a strike against the Bureau's headquarters on New England. But first we must remove the enslaving device from at least one Velos. Once we've done that, the freed Velos will be able to take the strain for at least one other, and in no time the entire race will be freed. But it won't be easy, Miranda warns. You see, the Velos have been ordered to stop anyone from moving devices, so you expect them to fight you with everything they have. Simply put, she summarized quietly whilst handing you the small hypodermic syringe, we want you to go and bring back Lyral from his current home on Earth in the Sol system and take him to Vera, say, in the Veraquai system. Sedative in that syringe should be strong enough to keep even a Velos unconscious for several weeks. Yeah, but how do you feed them? Is the problem. Okay, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can do that, but I'm going to stop somewhere on the way because this is going to be a painful one. Yeah, I'm going to stop in Molyneux. Here actually, see if it's got an outfitter, and if it does, buy some more Polaris torpedoes. That's good. Done. Yeah, continue on my journey. The thing about that is, too, it will give me a little bit of maneuvering fuel to deal with. Coming. When all of you jump. Jump out of here. Jump out of here. I'm not going to. They're all parking at Earth, which is where I need to land. The only ones that are truly problematic, no, excuse me, that's Federation, it'll jump. The Bureau ones, these ones, most likely won't. Leave. Maybe not. Maybe I'll get lucky. There we go. Earl greets you when you land. You know that I must resist you as strongly as I can, he tells you almost firmly. You nod, and the two of you begin. In the following minutes, both of you weave ever more complex flows. While you have the advantage of being able to merge with the universe, Lyrel's telepathic attacks force you to use your abilities to defend your mind from his telepathic attacks rather than for attacking him. Finally, in an effort to protect your mind, you merge completely with the spirit of the universe, losing all sense of self. In that moment, your intellect vastens to touch every point of the universe at one time, and for a second, you know everything about the universe. In your last moments of union, before your mind shudders back from the inconceivable, you use your powers to create a weave that smashes through Lyro's defenses. Orihara, he murmurs as he falls unconscious. You quickly drag him onto your ship away from the many bystanders who had stopped to watch the fight. Now, I'm going to have to get out of here quickly. Is there any upgrades here I want? This... That's expansion. Yeah, see, yeah, see, these are millions. I'm not really that interested in that right now. I also don't have access to those. So, I need to plan this one. You're not going to let me keep them. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can do it all in one jump. But I'm going to stop at one of the nil sectors, probably Nilkavi, to let them destroy themselves. I am sorry, but I'm getting out of your range. Okay. Get the hell out of the way. Deal with them, please. Out of the way. They're going to continue doing so. So I'll have to start a no Helipar as well. Away a bit. Only 2 of them left. So, there's 2 of them. Or they're done. As soon as you land, your passenger is wheeled into one of the many medical facilities on the station. Miranda watches as the other Polaris wheel him away before coming over and placing a hand on your shoulder. You couldn't have known, she informs you quietly, but Laurel, the Velos you fought was known throughout the galaxy as perhaps the greatest master of the Velos arts in a millennia, possibly the greatest ever. You have defeated one such as him proves you are our Orihara. Nobody else could have achieved it. You look up into her kind blue eyes, your mind still reeling from being as one with the universe. You can feel the soft razor's edge of insanity dwelling not far away, even as you go over the vents in your mind. You will be happy to know, Miranda continues happily ignorant of your distress, that the Bureau is in disarray after the rebel attack on their headquarters and all the subsequent drama. You see, Miranda explains jubilantly, the rebels were able to capture the leader of the Bureau, a woman who went by the name of Commander Crane. Yeah, I don't like her too much. And now that we have Lyrel, we can free him and therefore the rest of the Velos, which will mean that when this Crane woman gets put on trial, she will really be put on trial before an unbiased Velos judge. Imagine how damaging the verdict will be. You cannot help but smile at Miranda's enthusiasm, knowing that your efforts will be instrumental in bringing to power a more reasonable Federation government. You realize that the satisfaction you feel right now more than makes up for the loneliness of your existence. Anyway, Miranda concludes happily, we are over the moon with the way things have gone, and Bissandrea has given me permission to open the Polaris treasury to pay you a sizable donation for your efforts. If you want, you can use it to buy our latest ship, the Raven, the most powerful vessel ever created. So 5.22, let's see where, yeah, 500,000. Well, it's more than 500,000. That's 750,000. But it's not enough to buy a Raven. Absolutely not enough to buy a Raven. I can absolutely guarantee you that. And we need to... I think this planet is the shipyard. Yep. The Raven... Oh, it's not actually all that expensive. 5 turrets. Holy crap. 40 ammo. 8 mantas, though. 15 jumps. Think I'll buy this ship. And we are calling it the given thing. The Nevermore. Great. It does have a cloaking organ, but not the good cloaking organ. And that's a shotgun for the Polaris multi-torpedoes. Yeah, that was what we were seeing being shut off by the thing earlier. Antimatter reactor, I need 5 million for. It doesn't have one. Fusion reactor, we'll stick one in because recharging the things is important. And bio relay laser turrets, I only have enough for one. That's interesting. Well, I'm pretty close to the end of the story. No, I'm still not that close to the end of the story. Okay, hold on a second. Yeah, what do we got here? Okay, yeah, this, you would think this is the release from the Velos mission. This is the, oh yeah, this is a non-Newtonian one. That's right. Okay, so for the reasons given, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, done. This makes it go much faster with non-Newtonian. Oh, I forgot that too. Outfitter, because I'm metric sensors, IFF decoder, auto recharger, done. Horizontal booster, definitely. And the port and polish, which is before the horizontal booster, if they have it, which they don't right now. It's annoying when they do that. I may not be able to apply it to this anyway, but I don't need any more of that. I don't really need solar panels, but I can buy the 4 of these that I can to bring myself out to 19 jumps. That doesn't hurt. None of those missiles are useful at all. Marine platoon, I am not boarding anything anytime soon.
Captain Lenore of the Army, would you please report cargo incident? Your new jewel-studded box arrived.
Let's get away before they stop being distracted by that, because they're pissed with me. Yeah, I want to go back to there.
Captain Lenore of the Army, would you please report cargo incident? Your new jewel-studded box arrived.
Oh, they're still pissed at me. I want to see if they have a port and polish. Oh, an afterburner. I can buy one of those. It doesn't hurt. And the port and polish. Attack me. You were stupid enough to attack me. Oh, that's interesting. That was 32,000 credits stolen. That's funny. Well. Request assistance. Let's see. Accept price. Oh, you stupid monkey. He really doesn't like me very much. I don't particularly blame him. Let's just go back here and land, which will repair us. That was, I guess, could be considered a little bit missing, but not really in the mood for it. I don't think. Around here somewhere. I'm not running out of. Okay, is it that one then? It was that close. This is the other rebel world. I don't think it has anything on it that I want, but I'm gonna check it anyway. See, they don't have a whole lot, and they want high for everything. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 18. Done. I want to see if I can trigger that still. I don't think I can. Entire trip, and I've still got full fuel. Oh, this is the next bit of the actual storyline. That's great. Upon landing, you sense a bubbly Miranda nearby. As you prepare and talk, you can feel an undeciding sense of urgency as she waits for you. When you finally exit your ship, you can casually merge with the universe and bring into existence a weave which turns her head towards you. After a moment of odd shock, she makes her way over. You've become very difficult to track down, she begins reverently. I used to be able to sense your presence directly, even from many systems away, but as your skills have increased, it has become more almost impossible to sense you directly at all, even from across the room. I sense you. I instead have to track you by sensing the reaction of others to recognizing your presence, which is far more difficult. You almost wince when you are reminded how the Polaris have come to think of you, but you keep your face and mind blank. Regardless, she says more seriously, the reason I'm here is because I have an urgent information that needs to get into the right hands. Can I count on you? Sure, thank you, Orihara, she breathed sincerely. This is something of an emergency. You see, since Dr. Pentecost was elected the new Federation president, he has generously been sharing intelligence with us. Basically, we've learned that just before they were discredited, the Bureau had managed to forge an alliance with the Moash House, and we have reason to believe that they have fled to Moash space with a sizable fleet of Federation vessels in an effort to regain a toehold on the universe. It is urgent that you pass this on to the Huron House, she explains quietly, as we think that they may be in imminent danger of being attacked by a combined fleet of Moash and Bureau forces. Once you've done that, you're going to have to decide on your own what action to take there, as we don't know enough to help you. So, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Ran is where again? There we go. I was just getting my mantis out. Attack me? No, they will not. You find yourself mildly irritated when you sense a number of young Honoran warriors eagerly awaiting your arrival so that they can test themselves against you. As soon as you open your hatchet, you slip into the universe and create weaves so dense that they are powerful enough to throw grown men around like leaves. As you hold all 10 young warriors motionless in midair, you tell them that in no uncertain terms that you're in no mood to deal with their silliness today. Only when you are certain they understand do you relent and lower them back to the ground. You ask one of the now slightly frightened youngsters where you have to go to talk with the elders of their house, and he points without hesitation to a stairwell off to the side of the docking facility going up. You nod in thanks and begin making your way to them. After a long climb, the stairs open out into a large room in which a number of elderly-looking warriors are seated around a large table, talking in an orderly fashion. As you stride over, they catch sight of you and fall silent, watching you slightly suspiciously. "Why have you disturbed us, Orihara?" asked Terchak from his seat in the front of the table. "I wouldn't think that you would barge in here so unceremoniously without reason." You nod and quickly outline the intelligence that Miranda passed on, and her assessment that the roundhouse is likely the first target for the combined Moash and Bureau fleets. When you finish, the elders look at each other, doubtful of your story. "I will vouch for Orihara," states Kerchak quietly. "He is a warrior of the purest order, and his words are as law." With that, the elders look at you with renewed respect, and you realize that Turchak's word obviously means a great deal to them. "Thank you for giving us this information, Orihara," Turchak again pipes up. "The elders will now consider it, and I will prepare a plan of action. I will meet you in the bar in 2 hours and let you know what has been decided." As you sit, sipping your second drink, you cannot help but smiling when you sense the approach of not only Turchak, but also your old traveling companions Musetten and Drengar. When they enter the room, you subtly direct their attention in your direction, and they make their way over. You greet both your friends with a warm smile and handshake before thanking Turchak and bringing them along. "I had nothing to do with it," Turchak smiles, gently shaking his head. "Young Drang here, since the disturbance you caused earlier at the docks, insisted on seeing you." You laugh and thank him anyway. "Anyway, before you get too carried away reminiscing about old times," Turchak continues more seriously, "we need your help. We need someone to get the attention of the Dekchakar elders on Rimerda, but because of the threat of invasion, we can't really spare any house warriors. Can you help us?" And I'm going to say yes to that, but I think, yep, yeah, sure. As you have to do, he explains quietly. All you have to do he explains quietly, is to go to Romerta in the payment system and explain to them that the elders of Haran House wish for one of them to witness events of interest to the ruling council. They will send at least one Dekshar with you. Then you will take him or her to the Moash system to witness whatever is there. Once you have done that, return here to pick me up, and we'll journey to Aurora to confront the first family over their actions. Orihara, you have the thanks of the Horan House," Turchak states formally as he stands up to leave. "Your name will not soon be forgotten. I will leave you now and spend time with your battle brothers." You spend the rest of the afternoon chatting and laughing with both the young Polarans, whom have become far more animated for their contact with the Auroran culture. Even the reverence they feel for you as Orihara is being muted down to mere respect, and for the first time in many months, you enjoy yourself. Okay, so Paimon is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Done. I think it's on the other ones. I can use a sensor boost. It won't hurt me. And that adds a lot of... Well, it takes a lot of weight, but adds a lot of power to it. So, done. Okay, I'm good. And we will land Without pausing to think, you hold the young warriors itching to attack you in place with the weaves thick enough to support the mighty tower you have landed on. Then you start up the stairs you know will lead to the Dechar elders. Before long, you are standing before a table headed by a Dukna who you remember from when you visited the Drengar and Muset in tow. Orihar would not interrupt us so unless the matter was urgent, Dukna says, mostly to soothe the rumbles of discontent at your sudden appearance. His honor is impeccable, and we will hear what he has to say. He will quickly recite the formula given to you by Terkak, including the part about being interest to the ruling council, at which point everyone in the room starts paying attention. If the elders of the Ryan House want us to witness something of importance to the ruling council, Duknar replies thoughtfully, I would see to it for myself. Wait for me in the bar. I will meet you there in an hour. You see Duknaka's a keen. You sense the intellect approaching, and you immediately stand and walk out of the bar and move to meet him on the way back to your ship. Why didn't you wait for me? He asks, and you sense he is mildly annoyed. You answer that you sensed him coming and decided to meet him on the way to save a little time. I apologize for ever doubting your motives, he breathes sincerely as you wave it away. Tell him you didn't mind. You quickly go through your pre-flight checklist, aware that Dukna's eyes are widening every time you use your abilities to flick a switch and push a button without moving from your seat in the command chair. Okay, so let us go to Moash. They're not going to like me coming. Yeah. There and there. I think I need to land on Moa. Landing request is denied, so I don't actually have to land. I just have to go back to Ran now. And let's go and land on Haran. As soon as you land, you are met by a small battle group of warriors, obviously prepared to repel any sneaky attack by Moash warriors. As soon as they see you, they quickly back off, giving you a respectable amount of space. I see that young Dexter warriors aren't the only group of people you have frightening into leaving you alone to Jack Circles. Although I can imagine that the eagerness with which young warriors these days try to gain renown could quickly become very tiresome for one of your abilities. When you reach the council chambers, you gain the attention of every person in the room with a subtle weave. You have seen something of interest to the ruling council? Asked Turchak, quite obliquely. What I've seen is a first family that has treachery and dishonesty dishonorably allied itself with our most hated enemies, Dukna confirms grimly, in a greedy attempt to gain nothing more than mere power. Do not worry, he continues, holding up his hand to forestall the questions of the Hranalers. The forms have been followed, and what I have seen has not been contaminated by either your views or those of Orihara. You can be assured that my word will be as law before the ruling council. Nobody can doubt its veracity. To keep it that way, he forestalls any questions in upper hand. I would ask that you say little now, so that no challenge of any sort can be made on the integrity of my word. We have come for Turkachak, Tekercha, Teker, Anyway, because he may be needed to take part in the meeting of the Council of Thurokirs. You raise your eyebrows at the satisfied reactions of the Haran elders to Duna Naka's last statement. If the first family has so disgraced itself that it has to be that has been removed from power, Tushak explains to you in low voice, the Council of Thurokirs decides on who will be the next first family. Meet me in the bar in 10 minutes. I will be ready to go then. As you sit chatting with Duknak, you sense the business-like approach of Turchak. You surprise Duknak by predicting the exact time the Haran Thurkir will enter the bar. Your abilities are truly amazing, Duknak marvels after Turchak. Tekerak joins the two of you. Not even Tekerak here, who is widely acknowledged as the greatest Roran martial artist in history, could sense such things. That's not terribly surprising, Tekerak explains quietly. Orihara is the preeminent warrior in the universe. He has not only defeated myself, but also Lyrel, the most Velos warrior in centuries, and have fought to the standstill the most godlike intelligences now inhabits what used to be Velos space, in the galactic northwest. I may not be as talented as yourself, Tekerak smiles at your mild surprise, but I'm not without my own abilities. I'm probably the most widely traveled person in the galaxy, with possible exceptions of yourself and my battle brother Arkadnar. You may think that he has only had a peripheral role in the recent goings-on in the galaxy, Tekerak warns Dukna, but he has not. More than that, anybody with the skill necessary to intuitively observe the weaves of life has felt the disturbances he has made into the fabric of the universe on the odd occasions when he has unleashed his power, and it is frightening. His abilities approach the limitless. Is that true? Asked Dukna. You could say, I don't know, destroy a world, for instance. You sit thinking for a moment, and then you realize that if you really wanted to, you probably could. You shrug and nod committally. By the gods, Dukna swear. Well, I'm glad that we have you on our side. You smile wanly, wishing that Turchak hadn't been so forthcoming about your abilities. You stand, suggesting that it is time to get moving. Both Dukna and Turchak sense that your mood, and nod in agreement. So we're going to Aurora. 2, 3. There's probably a way through here, but I don't really want to try it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Done. Leave. Because they're all Moash is the problem. They'll piss off in a bit. There we go. Upon landing, the three of you make your way to the chambers of the ruling council. As you walk up to the door that opens to the council's chambers themselves, you can sense the hostile intentions of 20 young warriors who leap at you out at the three of you in ambush. Having long since merged with the universe, you launch into a series of beautifully graceful moves that end with the bloody deaths of all your attackers. You quickly put together weaves thick enough to lift the remains, and you mentally will the door open, calmly walking in, dumping the bodies at the feet of the three Moash representatives and the Emperor, who all look momentarily shaking. What is the meaning of this? Blusters the Emperor through his surprise. It is another proof that the level which Moash house has sunk, replies Dukna sternly. My word is as law, and I have seen with my own eyes the ships of our most hated enemy, the Bureau, in your own home system, where, alongside your own ships, they attacked us. All the forms have been observed, Dukna submits grimly. My word is uncontaminated. I call to account the Moash house for treachery and deceit. I call for the Council of Thakirs to be convened. You can't do that. You need a full vote of the Council first. I move that the Moash be struck from the position of first family and the Council of Thakirs be convened, drawled one of the Tekel representatives, nodding in acknowledgement of Duknak's suggestion. Votes against. The hands of the Emperor and the three Moash representatives go up, their faces going white when they receive no support. 4 asks the same number, and everybody raises his or her hand. Everybody else raises his or her hand. The motion is passed. The council is dissolved pending the decision of the Third Council. As one, all the representatives, barring those from the Moash house, get up and leave. Meet me in the bar, whispers Duknak. I'll explain what happens next. After an hour observing the Dunak's movements to different parts of the archaeology, he finally turns towards the bar and is meeting with you. Sorry for taking so long, Orihara, Dunak apologizes as he sits down, but as you can understand, I have a number of things to take care of. You wave it away, telling him that you don't mind. I guess you want to know what's going on, he asks mildly, and you nod calmly. The Emperor, his advisors, and 3 representatives of the Moash house have been sealed in the throne room, which will never be opened again as long as the Auroran Emperor survives. That is their punishment for their treachery, and as they starve over the next coming weeks, they will have plenty of time to think on their misdeeds. You're a little surprised at the severity of the sentence, but one look at Dunak's face tells you that he has no doubts about the suitability of their punishment. In a fortnight, the Thorokir's council will meet. They will decide on who will become the new first family, and although I don't want to preempt their decision, I will also be surprised if Horan House doesn't assume that responsibility. In the meantime, he says quietly, I've spoken with a representative of all the houses, except obviously of the Moash house, and they have all agreed in principle to opening diplomatic relations with the Polaris. Of course, this still has to be agreed to by the Polaris, and it has to be ratified by the full council when it next meets, but I'd like you to pass on the offer. And one last thing, he says, looking it straight in the eye. There will be a great many songs written and sung about the events of this day. I swear that to you on my honor that I will make sure your name is mentioned first in all of them, Orihara. He walks away. As he walks away, you realize that his last statement was no idle honor, and he meant every word. Yeah. Sometimes the story is just funny. So Kellery, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Moash face is still pissed at me, and space. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Initiating attack.
You are going to be dead shortly.
Understood. Attacking now. Commence. Yes, sir. Confirmed. Understood. Attacking now.
See, 8 of them are pretty potent. As you meditate to pass the time in your many hours in hyperspace, you start to occasionally feel a desire to completely merge with the universe. As you have only completely immersed yourself into the universe once and were nearly driven insane by it, you resist the temptation, but you cannot help feeling feeling that it would not be long before you are forced to do it again. As you dock on the enormous ring around Polaris, you sense that the entire council is waiting to greet you, and you suddenly understand that even these ancient and wise men and women have begun to succumb to the awe surrounding the mystique of your skills. Never before have you been taken so long to complete your post-fight routine. You do everything you can think of to put after having to face people who are so impressed by your abilities that they can no longer recognize your humanity. But you can only avoid it for so long, and you're ready to exit your ship. Welcome back, Orihara, smiles a healthy-looking Miss Andrea. We understand that you have an offer for us. You quickly summarize the events of your sojourn into Oran space, ending with Duke Naka's tentative offer for open diplomatic relations. You will be happy to know, Miss Andrea informs you after listening to your report, that the Haran House will be the new first family after all the appropriate rites and ceremonies have been completed, and that we have received unofficial confirmation through Dregnar and Musatin that they're still willing to begin talks with us. But for now, we wanted to thank you for your actions in not only destroying the remnants of the despicable bureau, she continues, but also for being part of bringing the up to power more reasonable Auroran government. So I've toppled 2 governments. That's great. You have our thanks and our admiration for your efforts, and we have placed a significant sum of money at your disposal, and it is our wish that you take the time to enjoy it. Okay, $1.5 million. I will take that. Yeah, okay. I think I'm pretty close to the end. I would normally have stopped streaming about 5 minutes ago, but I think I'm gonna finish the Polaris storyline because there is only so much left to it. The main problem is gonna be triggering this stuff. Oh, good. Over the past few months, you have been keeping an eye on the locations of Miranda, Laurel, and Pagena, because you know that once they got together, the day you had been dreading was fast approaching. A few weeks ago, you felt them meet, and since you have observed their search for the galaxy for you. As you slowly prepare to disembark, you know that they will ask you once again to face the crypt. It seems like every head in the spaceport turns to watch you leave your ship, and more than one Polaris casts a sidelong look in the direction of the small group walking for you before deliberately looking away. You walk over and nod in greeting, but none of them wants to break the ice. You know why we have come, states Laurel, quietly pleading, but you cannot know the whole story. We cannot evolve past the veil unless we have the crypto to focus us. It is the way our mind is set up. More than that, we have no desire to leave them behind. Will you help us? Yep. When you calmly nod, you cannot help but sense the surge of pride from everyone nearby, and as they try to observe the goings on. Thank you, Orihara, responds Laurel. Of all the people in this room, I am the only one besides yourself who has felt the crypt mind, and so I know the danger you are placing yourself in for us. But without you, we would be lost. He looks over at Pagena, and you sense the young scientist's discomfort rise sharply. Her analysis from the last trip was again incomplete, he mutters uncomfortably, but we are able to pick up some residual psychic phenomena embedded into parts of the Velos, and Laurel was able to identify the patterns as being similar to those of some of the members of the Crypto just before the end of the Velos War. We want you to go to Velos with Lyral, he explains, shifting his seat, and then take it from there. And when you're finished, Miranda said sadly, I will be waiting for you on Morahara. Okay. Out of curiosity, why is Earth still pissed at me? There's supposed to be a new... I really wish I had the tunneling organ for this. As soon as you enter the crypt space, you are forced to defend Laurel from constant attacks by the crypt mind. For weeks, you stay immersed in the spirit of the universe until you're sure that you've gone insane. But after the first moments, it almost feels natural, and you can sense the crypt's rising panic as she cannot penetrate your defenses. As part of your enormously vast perceptions, you almost unconsciously land on the surface of Velos and observe Lyral leaving the ship for a time. You can sense him cast about with his mind, looking for a psychic trace of the crypto. With small weave amongst the millions of weaves you are willing into existence to foil the crypt mind, you draw his attention to what he's looking for. He returns to the ship, and you can sense that his awe at what you have shown you can do. I felt the word corral, he said quietly, aware that you already know. That was a planet once populated by us. I suggest we go there. You nod and take off again. It's off that way, and these jumps are not incredibly easy to make. Okay, was it that way then? Well, we'll jump around for a little bit to see what we can find. Oh, that's Before you even land, you can sense the faded remnants of the crypto psychic aura as you absent-mindedly pilot your ship down through Corel's atmosphere. From the residue they left behind, you deduce that they are partially embedded into their minds into their nanites in an effort to escape the detection by the ravaging forces of the Colonial Council. With a sudden whiff of inspiration, you realize that they actually created the crypt in an effort to defend this world, and eventually all that was Velos space, whilst they waited for the spirit of the universe to awaken and return them to their natural state. Suddenly you know what has to be done, and you weave an invitation to the crypt into your defenses against their attack, which suddenly stop, and you can sense her focusing her intellect into the grotto where you feel the remnants of the crypto. With subtle inclination of your head, you tell Laurel to follow you as you head in that direction. You sense Lyrel's growing wonder and the crypt's apprehension as you enter the cave. Inside, you see 6 bodies, perfectly preserved in cryogenic tubes. They must move on, you tell the crypt with a quiet assurance. You must find your own way. Crip nods and walks over to the cryogenic tubes, and in a sudden whirlwind of consciousness, transfers everything of the crypto back into their bodies before dissipating completely. "You did it!" exclaims Laurel, "and she destroyed herself to do it." You shake your head, telling them she just gave back to them what they had given to her, but that she remains, although it will be centuries before she relearns how to project herself so intensely again. You give him a few instructions how to operate the cryogenic machinery before heading back to your ship. With release, for the first time in weeks, you dissolve union with the universe, allowing your mind to return to its limited senses with relish. While you were immersed in the universe, you sense Miranda waiting for you on Muraharo, and whenever the Polaris asks for your help, you know it won't be long until you're once again immersing your consciousness in the universe. Yeah. Lots of travel back to Muraharo. I'm here, so throughout your trip back, you can feel the spirit of the universe calling to you. Several times the need grows so great that only with an enormous act of will can you withstand it. But soon you know that it will grow but too powerful, and you will cease to exist as a human being, and instead will become one with the universe. During these struggles, you peripherally notice the departure of the Velos beyond the physical realm, and with a nod of your head, you say goodbye to and wish them well. With your enhanced senses, you can still feel them wandering around the edges of your awareness, occasionally touching the physical plane as they learn more about their new realm. Finally, you land on Muraharo, and you sense the relieved Miranda waiting for you. You know that she wants you give her a lift to Killary to pass on the Polaris leaders that their unspoken debt to the Velos is now paid. "I will take you," you tell her before she can speak, and you almost wince at the wonder in her eyes. Without a word, you indicate with the subtle weave that you should follow, and you lead her back to your beloved Nevermore. She watches her eyes in wide wonder as you go through your pre-flight checklist without moving a muscle. After takeoff, you turn to Miranda and ask if there's anything else that the Polaris would need of you. "I believe that there is one more thing," she answers reluctantly, with wonder in her eyes being replaced by shame. "We have placed ourselves in an untenable position that only you can extricate us from. But it was not my doing," she tells you quietly, "and I will leave the telling of it to those who were responsible." With a single nod, you turn back to your internal struggle against the call of the universe. You know that soon enough this will all be over. Hurry. And then we go and land on Killary. You sense the presence of the entire Polaris ruling council, plus the case leaders awaiting your arrival. Without digging too deep, you can feel the irritation of the cast leaders and the anxiety of the council members. Stepping out of the hatch, you are almost horrified to see everyone bowing. Without thought, you weave them all upright, telling them that you're still just a man. "It took us over 6 centuries," intoned Bisandria formally, "but with your help, you'll finally be able to pay our debt to the Velos. But we have another problem," she continues, and you can sense her nervousness. You may not be aware that we have recently entered into a secret alliance with both Federation and Auroran Empire. The reasoning was that we could use our new position allies to bring bear some leverage on both parties in order to bring them closer to each other. Unfortunately, she tells you, her voice on the verge of breaking, things didn't go quite as planned. Part of agreement with them, we shared some of our technology with both of them. We had hoped that it would be used to raise the standard of living in both realms, but in doing, it is going to be put to use on the battlefield first. We protested, but they would not listen, both of them proclaiming that they could not trust the other, and their weapons would only be used in defense of their own nation. But soon their technology will begin to outstrip their tactical ability, and it will be possible for one side to breach the defenses of the other easily and cause enormous amounts of damage. We are within a few months of what could be the most terrible war in the history of mankind. You shake your head at the naivety of the Polaris before announcing that you will go to the bar for a quiet drink. You tell them that in 1 hour you will tell them what you will do. Exactly on the hour, all the leaders of the Polaris Society file in with expressions on their faces. The hour is up, Orihara, Brissandre reminds you politely. We are here to listen to your plan. You smile an empty and sad smile, knowing that you're going to manipulate them into destroying their own beautiful civilization. Join me on the Nevermore, you say quietly. There's something I want to remind you of, and it's best that you see it for yourself. With that, you get up and lead back to your ship before heading out into space on your way to Arza, Lusa, and Zaluso system, and remind them of the sacrifice that one of their historical heroes, Lucia. With any luck, they will understand the significance of what you are trying to say. Done. When your passengers recognize the planet you're landing on, a few look puzzled, others look sad, but only three, Luso, Miranda, and Bissandrea, look grim. As soon as you touch down, you usher everyone off the ship. You are truly a warrior for our people, says Trelawney, one of the leaders of the Triperia, after a long silence. Only one as great as yourself would even contemplate sacrificing yourself for all of humanity. You smile a mad smile and shake your head. It is not Orihara's place to sacrifice himself to get us out of our problems, lectures Aisu quietly. It is not he that will be sacrificed for humanity. That honor is saved for ourselves. Soon the Polaris will be no more, agrees Bissandrea sadly, but we must destroy ourselves for the good of humanity. Thank you, Orihara, she says, turning to you. You have shown us the way. We will remain in your debt. You shake your head before indicating that everyone should return to your ship for a trip back to Carolee. Upon landing, it saddens you to see the once proud Polaris leaders file off, looking like broken men and women. But they now know as well as you that the days of their civilization are numbered. Soon their entire culture will have passed away under the weight of upcoming events. I will have a battle plan for you soon, states Ayuso, the only one still holding his head high. Bissandrea nods sadly, and Luso bows before I Yuso, bows before turning on his heels and heading towards his own ship. We require a little time, O'Hara, says Miranda quietly, seeing the distress on the face of Cassandra, but when we are ready, we will find you. We need your abilities to get us through this. You nod, wishing that there was something you could say to soften the blow to the very fabric of their lives. Instead, you smile a sad, empty smile and head back to the ship again, feeling the thrills of being human. For you know your own time grows short. You sense the approach of Miranda, and you know the time has come, and you finally give in to the call of the universe, and once again sinks into the now comfortable universe. Miranda watches in awe as you sweep up her mind on one of your wreaths and carry it out to where you are focusing your mind. You know it is time to lead the Polaris into war, which will they cease to exist as a nation. You must decide which force you will lead and which one will launch against the Federation. I think we're going to go against the Federation. I'm gonna have to do both of them anyway, like travel to both of them anyway. So I think we're gonna do the Federation because it's the closest one as it is. Let's go and 3, 4, 5, 7, that is how I...
Initiating attack. Commencing attack. Initiating attack.
As soon as you land on the station, the Nicomaria start laying waste to the infrastructure for the military in the sector. Within minutes, they are finished, and you have them announce on the Federation holonet that you will be next be coming to Earth, so that they have time to send their entire navy to meet you. In one fell swoop, you will destroy their ability to make war.
Captain Lenora, would you please report to
Earth. Done. Leave.
Understood. Attacking now. Initiating attack. I've got one. Initiating attack.
As soon as you land, the warriors start and almost delicately destroying the infrastructure used by the Federation Navy. Within hours, while the Kane Band has retained its ability to build basic ships, all the components used to build weapons and military-grade outfits have been destroyed. You realize that your almost cataclysmic campaign against the Federation is now over. For the first time you began this war, you concentrated your perceptions towards the Auroran operations, and faltering in the last hurdle. You quickly pass on to the remainder of your fleet your intention to meet up with the Auroran half of the Polaris operation in the Aurora sector, and help them destroy the ships there. Those warriors that remain capable of joining you do so in the final act they will take as members of the Polaris government. Yeah, stop that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. His mind seeps deeper into the union with the universe. You struggle to maintain your defense of the Polaris ships. More than once, only Miranda's mental cries are all that keep you from forever losing your sense of self. However, you finally reach Aurora, and they receive the same treatment as the Federation government, leaving behind almost no central infrastructure. You know that you only have one last stop left. Satisfied, you power up your ship and painfully withdrawing one last time from the Union. You want to visit the memorial of the man who inspired all of this. Once more, you go to Arussia. Um, this time to leave behind your humanity. So, let's go. This is the end of the Aurora campaign. Um, no, back. This, that, there, there, there. Yeah, it's going to be through all of it, but after landing, you take a few moments to enjoy your last minutes of mortality before you begin to slip into the seductive embrace of the universe, and you turn your attention to the unfolding events of the galaxy. You watch the remnants of the Nickel Moria limp back to Carolee and watch as both the Federation and Auroran prisoners are released. You watch the sad drama unfold as Bissandrea surrenders her nation to both of them jointly. You almost chuckle when you realize that only Tekaraka understands the gesture. You have destroyed our ability to make war, he explains. They have destroyed our ability to make war, he explains to others, to make peace and bring us together. They have surrendered to both our governments. We will now have to work side by side to manage the dismantling of their government, as they will not accept the ruling of one government alone. With a sigh, you smile sadly to let yourself go, as your consciousness dissipates and you lose yourself in the enormous depths of the universe. In one final act, you weave into existence a memorial of your Axis or Orihara, to remind the future generations that you will one day return when you are once again needed. With Orihara gone, the Polaris are quickly and kindly assimilated into the cultures of the Roran Empire and the Federation. Their act was never forgotten, and slightly less than 2 centuries later, humanity once again uh, united, and the first period of disunity, which had started with the Polaris exploratory expedition and the Velos War, was finally brought to close. Only the second period of disunity, which, due to the 2 century-long Shard War, resulting in many more deaths despite being much shorter, marred humanity's development from ape to God. Oddly enough, to all concerned, both periods were brought to a close through the actions of an individual named Orihara. In both cases, the person in question seemed to arrive out of nowhere, and once the job was done, they both disappeared again. More than a few people believed that they were both manifestations of the spirit of the universe, but such talk was scoffed at by most people. Scoffed at, that is, until a day 50,000 years later, when humanity finally joined the Velos cousins beyond the veil and learned the truth. In a final act of thanks, they left the word Orihara attached to every construction they had ever made. When after millions of years, other useful races finally developed interstellar technology and stumbled onto the moldering remains of the ancient human civilization on 1,000 worlds, they could not help but wonder at the single word telepathically embedded in every stone. So the legend of Orihara lived on. And there we go. I do not think I have enough for Kestrel. Yeah, I need 40 million. one of these games I'm gonna actually sit down and earn up like 40 million to go and buy it. Any missions here? No. The bar here? No. Trade center. You trade nopals though. So that is the end of the Polaris storyline. And we'll just zoom out here. I've got most of the universe mapped, but that's going to be the last thing I do, and it will probably again be done by a my Velos pilot. Although I may do it with this one because I do like the non-Newtonian ships, and I think it's the only one that I can get it at, except for maybe the no, that's a vectored ship. So the Dragon's vectored ship. So I can only get vectored ships through non-Newtonian ships through the Velos and the Polaris storylines. So I will probably end up mapping with them. The next episode will be next Thursday, and I think I want to avoid the Auroran storyline. It's one of the harder ones to do. I want to see if maybe I can do the Wild Geese storyline, sub storyline, before I start whatever one I'm going to do. Because it's a well, if I get the don't kill it partway, it doesn't kill it partway through. I get it's a small little story that's kind of nice, and then I'll try for maybe the Federation one. See if I can get that one going. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I went 40 minutes beyond longer than I normally do. So thank you for watching. If you have, and if you haven't, thank you for watching the VOD and or the YouTube video. And have yourselves a good night, day.